So how do you play melodic solos like this? I used to really struggle with that because I started out, like most people, playing the pentatonic scale and then adding the blue note, playing some bluesy stuff, and then once, you know, and you can use that over so many different styles of music and so many different chord progressions, but at some point, you know, it's like, give me more, right? Give me more tools, because you can kind of run out of ideas, right? Because you have kind of the same sound. I remember my sister came in, you know, I was practicing and I've been using that blues scale for a year, just playing. And then she comes into my room, like 11 years, 12 years old, and she says, everything you play sounds the same, right? But, you know, so the truth shall be heard. But so I really wanted to break out, and I knew I could use the major scale as well, right? You got a chord progression in A minor, right? So why not use the A minor scale instead of the A minor pentatonic? But as soon as I broke out and I started using the A minor scale, which has 7 notes instead of 5, then it was just, ugh, it sounded really awful because there were so many notes that I could hit suddenly that didn't sound just right. Because when you start using the minor scale compared to the pentatonic, then there are more notes that can sound really awful over the wrong chords, you could say, right? So you have to be able to know where the chord notes are, basically, right? And there are multiple ways of doing that. You can use your ear, you can use arpeggios. In my new course, we use our ear, only our ear, so we don't even know what chords are in the background. We don't care, because our ear is so strong that we can find the right notes at the right time. But enough about that. Here's a trick that you can use to get, if you have to play with the guys tomorrow and you have your minor pentatonic, right? And you kind of learn the first position, let's just say A, right? A natural minor. Also in the first position, I might want to mark that out. You know the first position minor pentatonic. I guess that's what I'm going to assume anyway. The natural minor says 5, 7, 8 on the low E string, 5, 7, 8 on the A string. Right, and just see the pentatonic scale there and the blues scale as we do this. So 5, 7, 8 on the 2 lower strings. Then you have in the cage shape anyway, you have the 5th and the 7th on the D string. Then you have 4, 5, and 7 on the G. And then you have 5, 6, and 8 on the B string. And then 5, 7, and 8 on the high E string. That's the A minor scale, also called A natural minor. Same notes as the C major scale, if we have the C major as our home base. But now let's try to use that instead, right? If we do that, we get into trouble really quickly. I have a chord progression here that says A minor, A minor, G major, F major, and then E major, which is the major dominant of the A minor. So we're going to play over that, but we're going to use a special trick. If your ear doesn't work as well as mine does, yet it will, especially if you go into our new course. Sorry. But if your ear doesn't work so you can just find your way around every note in the major scale or the minor scale, then what you do is that you find target notes. You simply just look at the 7 notes you have available here, and then you find some notes that sound good over each chord. So just listen to it. I've got the first chord here. We don't know what it is. We don't need to. Second. Have the next. And then the next. So I'm just gonna pick a note. Oh, that sounded pretty good. Right, that was the first chord. And the note in the 5th fret on the B string sounded really good in my scale. So let's see if we can, so I'm just gonna target that note for that chord. Let me see if I can find one. See, if I stay on that note, that doesn't sound so good. So I'm gonna go up or down, right, in the scale. So I'm gonna try it, or I'm gonna try this. But I'm not gonna stay because that doesn't sound so good. No, not up. Down. Down sounded pretty good, right? So that note sounded good in the 7th fret on, follow me here, just pick up your guitar. In the 7th fret on the G string, that sounded pretty good. So, 5th fret B string. 7th fret, let me see. No. Maybe for the 3rd chord I could go to the 6th fret on the B string. Let me try that. We're going somewhere with this. This is not just a very boring solo. Oh, that sounds good. And then back to the first, right? So now I have first chord, second chord, third chord, and fourth chord, right? So okay. That's pretty simple, right? And this is also a very boring solo, but let's see if we can put embellishment to that, right? So I'm simply going to say this is my target note for that chord, but I can go, or I can go, or I have the second note. This is the note in the 7th fret on the G string. Right, so basically what I'm doing is I'm using zero creativity here. Zero, there's nothing hard about this. I'm just playing random notes from the scale and ending on the target note. That's what I'm going to really do everything I can now to do. No creativity, just random notes and then end on the target note. Right? So I have something that works now. It seems like I know all kinds of arpeggios, or I have my ear training in place, but I don't. I just have 4 little notes where and one of the notes is the same, right? So I got 3 notes that I have to target. And what I then do before I play with the guys is I just practice targeting these. And I can use for the first note, for instance, I can use my minor pentatonic because the note is in the pentatonic. Then I have the second. Oh, no, the second. That's also in the pentatonic. So I go. Then I have the third. Right, so I could go bend up to it, or right. So that's how it works. And depending on how long the solo is going to be, I can then pick 3 other notes. And let me just do that so we can take it. We can have the chord progression running twice, and nobody will hear that it's the same notes we're targeting. So let me see if I can find another one. You know, just for sake of variety, let me go to another position. Let me go all the way up to the 12th fret, where I have my 4th position minor pentatonic, which would be 12 and 15 on the 2 bottom string. And the major scale, or the minor scale in this case, would be then 12, 13, and 15 on the E string, 12, 14, and 15 on the A, and also on the D, 12, 14, and 15. Then I have 2 notes, K shape, 12 and 14 on the G. Then I have 12, 13, and 15 on both the B string and the E string. And the pentatonic scale looks like 12 and 15 on the 2 low strings, 12 and 14 on the 2 middle strings, 13 and 15 on the B, and 12 and 15 on the high E. So when I got that down, I can, find some target notes that are not the same. Okay, find a nice one there right off the bat. Right? So let me see if that's the 14th fret on the G string. Oh, wow, that's nice. I like that one, right? So now I have 2 for the first chord. Or I can just take that. I love that. So I'm going to take that. I don't know what note that is. I don't have to know. I don't know what chord it is. I'm just using, finding something out of the notes that sound good. So. Oh, that note also sounds good in the next chord. I have to go up 1 step. So now I have a... Same note again, right? Let me see if I can find another one. Okay, I have this one. Oh, that's a nice one. So now I have this for the first chord, this for the second, this for the third, and this for the fourth. 12, 12 B string, 13 B string, and 12 E string. We can do that. And I can even just, I can just limit myself to the 2 top strings even. So I have the 12, 13, and 15 on both the B string, and just play around. See? So now I've gone from only using the pentatonic scale to practicing the major scale or the minor scale over that, to really having a method here where I can come up with some target notes. Of course, I need a little bit of time before I start soloing, right? But then I can focus on these target notes. I can play whatever, and then just as long as I end and rest on those target notes. So you can practice with the chord progression, have a looper pedal, and then show up with the guys and play a very melodic solo with just that. And if you want more, if you want to become the supreme master of using your ear to connect your head so you can play what's in your head, really come out with those great solos, then I suggest you go check out my new course. There's another video coming, so I hope to see you in that one. Till then, have a great time practicing.